So you're saying that you made some serious complaints, which she tacitly admitted, and nothing came of those complaints?
No. Because you're dealing with the Victorian Legal Services Commissioner. When they have a bone to pick with someone, they will try any trick in the book to take them down. And that led to their final thing of taking over my business under those allegations, sending Nick Curran in to destroy it. Because they had tried through cancer, sepsis, 15 years of harassment, management system directives under extraordinary stress and cost, me spending $700,000, me spending more hundreds of thousands of dollars, and at the end, taking away my now 9-year-old's inheritance and my life's work of 21 years.
So I know that you've told me this, and I've also seen some documents to that effect, that after they took over your business, fearing that they wouldn't take care of it properly, you found a buyer for your practice?
Entered into a contract as well and provided that to them a week later.
Okay.
And had a meeting with them at the Legal Services Commissioner with Howard Bowles, Gordon Cooper, and Nick Curran.
Okay. And
my lawyer.
So
who's under investigation now.
That lawyer is also on. This is different from Mr. Glenn Mohammed.
That's correct.
What's the name of this lawyer?
Stephen Walters.
Okay, so Stephen Walters was the lawyer that you proposed was willing to buy your business.
And he's still representing me now to this day, even though they have tried to, by doing that, to try and push him away to represent me and leave me on my own.
So he's also under investigation?
That's correct. Ongoing. And he's also, they've laid charges in VCAT now against him.
They've laid charges against
him? So it's in VCAT now, the matter, yes.
Okay. So were the charges only laid after he started representing you?
Yes.
Okay.
They investigated 8 years ago these charges and there was nothing, no basis. And now they've decided to reopen it and have taken him to VCAT on charges. For transparency, I've spoken with Stephen Walters, and he told me about what the substance of the charges was, and that effectively they are completely facetious. It does seem that the Victorian Legal Services Commissioner would have more important things to do, but for some reason they are quite extraordinarily focused on people that embarrass them, rather than getting rid of the things that cause them embarrassment. Keep it out of the media, keep it out of the public eye. I mean, when I had a win in with the other matter, both those matters, they have not been reported in the media. In other cases, lawyers have had their cases reported.
But only when they lose against the Commissioner.
Well, that's right.
Yes.
Yes.
Or
the government.
Yes. So, tell me more about the situation with Stephen Walters trying to buy your business and the Victorian Legal Services Commissioner's reaction to it.
We entered into a contract because...
When you say we, it's
me
you
and me and Stephen Walters entered into a contract, and we provided that to them to look at, and all three of them, including the manager, said, no, I'm not going to allow the practice to be sold to Stephen Walters.
But clarify this for me. Your practice was run by a corporation.
That's correct. Flitner Company Proprietary Limited. And
you were the director of the corporation?
Sole director secretary.
Okay. So you, as the director of the corporation, you were the sole director, you said.
That's correct.
And so you were solely responsible for making business decisions about the corporation, and you decided that the corporation no longer wanted to run that business itself, and it would be in its best commercial interest to sell that business to
continue on,
to save it, and the person you were selling the business to had the right license to run that business. Is that right?
That's correct. The only thing that he was missing was a trust account for certificate to be able to operate the trust account.
So did they say that it's because he has...
No, it wasn't because of that. They just said, no, we're not going to allow it. He said, I'm doing the course. Just give me a week or less than that and I'll have it done. They said, no, it's not going to be allowed. We're going to run it. And ultimately, from day one, clients wanted to pay their bills. My staff were shut off to talk to me from day one. I was locked out. I was actually homesick the day they turned up. So it was unbeknownst to me they would turn up, because the legal board wrote a letter to Stephen Walters and sent it at 6 p.m. the night before. So it was done out of hours that he didn't see it till later, until they'd already entered my office, were changing the locks, told me that I was never welcome there, and started talking to my staff, telling them not to talk to me. So to this day, my staff were told that their legal careers would be in jeopardy if they gave me information, if they told me what they were up to in there. Eventually what that happened was that bills were run up. They stayed for another 2 weeks, didn't pay the staff because everything had been paid up, the rent for the month for October. They stayed to the end, cleaned out 300 odd files and boxes and archive and this other matters file that they have not given me access to defend myself at VCAT, and the copy of it, so I don't even have those details. Took my computers, took my personal documents on my computers, put them all on a hard drive because I've seen the bill. Well, the first bill was $61,000 for the first month by the manager. Not sure what he did there. But, and also the clients were contacting me, some of the clients personally on my mobile, saying, well, they're not doing anything. They've lost our wills. They've lost this to this day. I said, look, I'm not allowed to comment. I wasn't even allowed to put a letter out to the clients. One became so irate, thinking that the government, I was a bad person, that they actually stole my practicing certificate off the wall, which led to Nick Curran's senior associate, the lady there, contacting me saying it was stolen a week ago. You may want to report that to the Victoria Police, which I did. And then they went and had him return it to the Greensboro Police Station, where I collected it from in a plastic bag, like an evidence bag. So that's how they spiked people up. They told them that I was a bad person. They told them not to have anything to do with me because the legal board was all righteous. And so I never had a chance to write a letter out. Stephen and me, we put together a letter. Nick Curran threatened us to put the letter out. I even took Supreme Court proceedings against the legal board and the manager, and turned up at court, and the judge wouldn't hear the matter. He said, go outside. Their barrister threatened me with $30,000 in costs for one day, that if the judge didn't want to hear it, I'd be up for costs. So I had to walk away because at that point I'd lost my business, lost my income, had my bank accounts taken away, the office account, and money coming into the business, which I was going to live on. Had no income source. I was already single, living on my own, mortgage and son's school expenses to pay, private school expenses. So I had to walk away and give an undertaking to Nick Curran that I wouldn't take any further action against him because I had dared to speak up in the Supreme Court about what they were doing.
But how is that legal? How can they make you give an undertaking that you wouldn't complain against the government?
This is the way that they push their settlement terms, to try and drive people silent.
So you're saying that they told you that if you, even though you had agreed to withdraw that case on the first day, that if you did not give them an undertaking,
and continue agitating about what they're doing,
which would effectively make it a criminal offence if you then broke that undertaking.
Yes.
So they told you that unless you agree to never make a complaint against them or be prosecuted criminally for making a complaint against them, you'd have to give them $30,000.
That's correct.
And this was an offer that a barrister put to your barrister.
That's correct, yeah. I had legal representation. I had Stephen Walters and a barrister, and they had their barrister there and their Nick Curran and their lawyers from the Victorian Legal Services Commissioner. It's
a good thing that it was their barrister, otherwise they would have taken their license for it.
That's correct. But this is what they get away with. This is the way they operate. They're not beholden to anyone. There's no oversight. They have $3.2 billion in their kitty from solicitor's interest on their trust accounts and from fees, which is meant to go out to community legal organisations and judges' studies, etc. But what they use is that public purpose fund to fund lawyers and investigations. And I have calculated that they would have spent close to $2 million over that time just prosecuting me. Let alone I've spent hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars, probably $1 million in losses, fighting them.
And you continue to fight them,
And I continue to fight them to this day.
and
We're still in front of VCAT.
and
the
this will
hearing-
lead to
and the
more
hearing-
costs. And if you
That's correct.
eventually
It's
win,
more heartache, even though I haven't been a lawyer practicing for a year and a half or nearly 2 years now. And the hearing in VCAT will probably be next year.
so they're likely to spend much more money on this.
That's right. And I have a right to apply for my certificate in October 2025, in a few months. But of course, they'll come back with a reasoning, well, you've got charges pending in VCAT because you didn't adhere to the management system directives and you didn't let Marriott Hubble Smith in, and we don't think you're a fit and proper person to be a lawyer.